Thank you all for joining us today. Welcome to today's webinar, which we are calling Teach Like a 21st Century Rockstar. We're pleased to have representatives from our strategic partner, 5-Star Technology Solutions, as well as a couple of teachers on today's webinar to talk about 5-Star's course, Introduction to Blended and Online Learning. And we will get to that topic in just a few minutes, but first I'm going to cover some housekeeping items. First off, this is the second of our 3 webinars this month on our theme of being thankful for our strategic partners. Today we are, as I said, talking about our partnership with 5-Star and this great course that they've been able to offer to many Indiana educators. Tomorrow we will be finishing things off with our partnership with NBC Learn, which has been phenomenal over these past two years. Hopefully you have all had a chance to visit NBC Learn and see some of their wonderful resources that they have. But they also have a new free ebook called Growing Up Online, and so we have Michael Levin from NBC Learn who will be on our call tomorrow afternoon at the same time talking about the free ebook that they have, and then also some online safety, internet safety resources that they have available for free to us in Indiana on NBC Learn. So please join us for that. In December, we've got 2 webinars in which we are giving you all gifts. Our first webinar is on Tuesday, December 3rd, and that will be Cool Tools for a Creative Yule. So we will have 10 educators sharing 10 different fabulous resources that they use, and these will be resources that you can use at home, at school. They will hopefully all serve dual purposes for you all, so join us for that. And on December 10th, great reads make great gifts. If you are looking for a book for yourself to read over your winter break, or if you're looking for a book, a great gift for an educator friend of yours, you should be able to get some great ideas from this webinar. So please join us for those. And you can find all of that information on our website. And this is what it looks like. You can get to us, eLearning, under any of the links up at the top, parents and students, administrators, or educators. You can also find us by searching for eLearning. And all of our professional development information is available through that professional development link right there on the left side of the screen. The 21st Century Learning Lab link will also take you to information about these specific webinars, and there's a link there to get to the 21st Century Learning Lab website, which has archives of most of the webinars that we've done over the past 3 or 4 years now. We've been doing these. And Michelle Green from our office just shared the link straight to the eLearning website. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing that. And I'm going to be muting people as they come on. I forgot to do that when I first started, so we'll watch for that. And Twitter chats. We have I&E Learn chats every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. This week there will be no chat. This week should be devoted, Thursday night should be devoted to chatting in person with your family and loved ones. So that is the topic for this week. There is no topic. Next week begins a month of joint chats, and next week's will be with the Kentucky EdChat community. So please use the I&E Learn hashtag and join us on Thursday nights. Pardon the squawking girl in the background, that'd be my daughter. The Speak Up survey is live. Please participate in that. Encourage your coworkers, your students' parents to participate in that. We get some wonderful information from those surveys that goes to our national leadership, and also if your school participates, you will also get that information back so you can make some informed decisions at your school and district level using that information. And I think that's all of my housekeeping stuff. Now we move on to our main topic of the day. We've been really happy to have this partnership with 5-Star Technology Solutions over the past couple of years. And two things that have come out of this partnership are two great online courses that we've had, or two great courses that we have. One is an Admin Academy for administrators, so encouraging them to get connected and to understand more of the technology and digital aspects that are now a big part of education. Another thing that has come out of this partnership is the Introduction to Blended and Online Learning course that they have, and I don't know the exact number, but I think I heard over 300 educators in the state have participated in that. Jason will be able to tell us that for sure. But I'm happy to introduce Jason Roseberry and Amanda Fisher from 5-Star Technology Solutions, and they will be talking about the course. And we also have 3 educators on the line who have participated in that course, and they can talk about their experience and how it has changed their maybe their regular classroom teaching also, not only their online teaching. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Jason. And let me tell you all, before I turn the audio over to Jason, when I'm going to make him the presenter, and when I do that, you all will lose your chat box. So you will need to mouse over that green bar at the top of the screen, and that will bring down a drop-down box, and you'll need to click on chat to open up your chat box again. So do that after I make Jason the presenter. And Jason, take it away. Oh, and Jason, I think I muted you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, unless I remuted
Got me.
you. Okay.
What's up? This is a webinar.
Somebody's excited to be here. Somebody's excited to be here.
Oh.
For their 30 iPads.
That's not me.
Okay, go ahead, Jason. I've got everybody muted now. Sorry about that.
I appreciate the energy. No, absolutely. Thanks for the introduction, Mary. We are thankful to get to work with the Office of eLearning. These are some of the most wonderful, just straight up people, as well as professionals that we get the chance to work with. So they're just real impressive folks, and we appreciate the opportunity to come in and talk about what we have to offer, and most of it free for teachers and schools in the state of Indiana. Really today we're just going to focus on the online course offerings that we have. Just a little history, we did start this last year, and the idea was for one teacher in every district to have the chance to go through this course, Introduction to Blended and Online Teaching, or iBOT as we refer to it now. And we quickly found out the communication with schools is very difficult, so I don't think we achieved the goal of getting one teacher from every district, but we had over 350 teachers have the chance to take this course, and just got some great feedback on that course, as Amanda will share with you later on. Amanda Fisher, who's our Associate Director of eLearning. Since that time, we have actually added 4 more courses. So we have a total of 5. We call it the Connected Educator Sequence. Amanda, again, will go into more detail on those courses later on as we go. How we're going to work this today is we're going to start off with some feedback. We have some teachers who've been through these courses and administrators. Give them a chance to weigh in. Please feel free to throw questions in the chat window, and we'll certainly go to those. But I'm going to bring in Amanda Fisher right now to get some questions and get some feedback from some of those folks. Amanda, are you there?
I am here now. Can you hear me?
Perfect. We got you. And we're looking for Brett and Beverly and Maria, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, can you guys hear us?
Me, it's Bev and Brett.
Perfect. Maria?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Perfect.
All right.
All right, so let's kind of start with you guys. I'm Amanda Fisher, the Associate Director of eLearning, as Jason said. So we're going to talk to each one of these participants, and I'm going to ask them to describe their role at the corporation, and then answer a few questions so that we kind of get a feel for what they're doing. So Maria, how about if we start with you? You want to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about what you do?
My name is Maria Sellers, and I'm the e-learning specialist at South Vermilion Community Schools. I'm currently in charge of technology integration in 3 elementary schools, a middle school, and a high school.
Great. Brett Bradley.
My name is Brett Bradley. I'm the e-coach at Elwood Community Schools. Just basically, right now we're trying to help Elwood and working with the principals to go one-to-one. In the short time that we have, we've actually got a lot done in the elementary, and Bev will share some of that.
Yes, and I'm Bev Groover, the principal at Elwood Elementary School, and we are a pre-K2 building.
Perfect. So Bev, why don't you go ahead and share a little bit about what your technology setup is at Elwood?
Okay, we are a little behind where we hope to be by now. So, you know, in the future we want to be one-to-one. At this point we have probably 80 iPads that we've purchased kind of on our own. So we're waiting on the whole school system to go one-to-one, and we hope that's going to be next year, probably either second semester or even the following year. We want to get everything into the teachers' hands in the middle school and high school by the next semester of next year. But my teachers here are pretty set, at least for having iPads and at least some iPads in every classroom so they can start experiencing some things with them. We probably have 8 to 10 at least in every classroom, along with some Thrive. So that's our goal, is to be one-to-one, probably later next year.
Great. And Maria, what is your setup at South Vermilion?
Currently, we are one-to-one in grades 7 through 12 with iPad 2. The elementaries, K through 5, each have 2 iPad carts and a MacBook cart. And then we have 2 iPad carts available for the 6th grade students at the middle school.
Great. And we'll kind of start with you. How has your experience, well, we'll start. Maria has taken both the first course, the Introduction to Blended and Online Teaching, and then she's currently enrolled in one of our sections of Technology Integration 101. So Maria, can you talk a little bit about how the information from the course has affected your teaching or your coaching for teachers who are moving to blended or online environments?
Yes. The biggest thing for me is I came out of the elementary music classroom, which is absolutely different from what everyone else does. And I think what it has done is connecting with people who are actually in the math classroom or the science classroom, hearing what they have to say in relation to tools and topics that you've introduced has been incredible. So instead of me running around and calling people, I have it right there, and I can go back to those people whenever I want.
Great. And Bev, as an administrator, how has the information in the Intro to Blended and Online Teaching course helped you in your role?
Well, it's definitely got me excited about technology, and it's helped me to go back and share with my teachers a lot of the things that I learned. You know, I had to be forced into blogging and how to do some of the tools that I was not comfortable with. So it made me experience it first, and then I definitely, you know, I go back and I share it with the teachers in faculty meetings, and Brett is doing the same thing right now. So just the resources and the sharing of information has really changed what I can do, and I just want to pass that on to the staff here.
Perfect. And Brett, how are you using it in your role?
The discussions parts is really big. Being able to not only see, you know, what other schools, what other individuals are doing when it comes to one-to-one and technology integration, but also being able to have them as a resource to bounce ideas off. The class that I'm in now, we have an actual Google Plus group. So we got everybody in a circle, and so anytime I want to reach out and, you know, pick somebody's brain or ask about something, they're, you know, a few mouse clicks away, and, you know, it's like believe it was Maria that said that was on earlier. Just like she was saying, you know, the resources that it provides, you know, you can always go back and look, you know, what resources that they do provide in each course is saved in the module, and so you can always go back and look at, you know, what you've already read to refresh yourself. So basically those two aspects of the course.
Great. We'll start with you, Brett. Who would you recommend to take the course? What kind of person should sign up to take this course?
Well, I mean, anybody involved in, you know, the process of any stakeholder that has a say in their school or the school they're associated with, you know, introducing or implementing one-to-one technology integration, anything for that matter, I think will benefit because it gives you a foundation, it gives you resources, and it gives you, you know, people to reach out to kind of bounce ideas off and see what they're doing so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's mainly who I would focus in. I mean, anybody that's involved, definitely I would recommend take the course because it gives you that background information and it gives you, you know, the information you need to get started. And you know, it's a long process. And you know, just like we're behind right now, I was coming into it unaware of just how, you know, long of the process of the planning and everything would be. But the course definitely helps because, you know, it gives you a guide to shoot for.
Great. And Bev, you're in a unique position because not only are you an administrator, but you're at an elementary school. So can you talk a little bit about whether you think that your teachers at such a young grade level would benefit from the information in the course?
Oh, definitely, because, you know, you're going to have those beginning teachers who still are having trouble with technology in general, and then you have some more advanced teachers. So it does not matter. The beginning teacher all the way to the advanced teacher can learn from each other because that's what you have to do. You have to share your ideas and help each other. So those who struggle, you know, get information from others, and those who are good at doing those technology pieces already are sharing their expertise. So it's good for everyone to have the class, I believe.
Great. Maria, do you have anything to add?
I think just anyone who is both excited about technology, but I still have some teachers who are so scared they think that if they touch it, it might break. I think the introduction class might be a great way to just tell them there is more out there than just what is in your computer.
Great. And I would like to add, I think that I hear from a lot of people that kind of like what these folks have touched on, the ability to collaborate with others from around the state who have a variety of background, whether it be administrative or coaching or in the classroom right now, so that really we're able to get a great viewpoint of these issues from a lot of different perspectives. Do any of the three of you, I know you have to run pretty soon, do any of the rest of you have something you'd like to share with the people who are here about your experience in the course?
I just know that it forced me again to take on some of the tools that I'd never experienced, like live binders, and I was able to go in there and as an administrator, you know, all of the places that I was finding that were good resources, I was putting them into live binder, and then I could give that to my teachers. So it was just a good way for me to experience tools that I'd never used before. A couple of my teachers, one of my teachers has taken the course, and she actually is going to go share some things that she now knows with some of the Madison County principals with me next week. So it's been good for her to have those experiences and to have Brett help her. And it's just exciting to go into some of the classrooms now and actually see some changes taking place. So I just think that's important to actually take the course and then go back and use those things and see the excitement in the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So did you feel like the information was practical, something that you could apply then, it sounds like?
Yes, they're definitely practical because I was able to use it, and then some of my teachers are starting to use those tools with, you know, she took the course, but I have some who have not, but they're able to then learn from us. So yes, it's very practical.
Great.
And Amanda,
Brett, what were you going to say? Yeah.
No, go ahead, Brett. I'll jump in a second. I've got a question for them.
Okay, I was just going to say, you know, the practicality of the course for me is, you know, at the end of the first course that I've taken, we had a project at the end, and my project, you know, is actually, I still use that as part of our resource site. So if teachers in our corporation, so basically what it was, I had to create a Google site that would have links about tech integration, and so I used that and built the site for the class, but now I'm actually using the site that I built in the class as a resource to send out to other teachers in case they wanted to have, you know, a look at what is going on that's new. I'll put apps on there. I'll put I'll rank them by subject area and whatnot. So it's just a place for them to discover new stuff that they may know about and they may not, but it at least gives them another resource site that I still use as part of the class.
And I can add to that as well. When I started that class, it is when I just first came in as the e-learning coach, and not having that degree, it was so overwhelming that I had no idea where to start. And that first introduction course actually gave me a place to start, put my foot down, and then walk forward. It was awesome.
Great, thanks. Jason, what were you going to ask?
Well, actually, Brett sort of read my mind there. I was going to say, you know, the course was designed, a lot of what you're hearing is that collaboration and discussion in mind. This isn't just watch a video and take a quiz kind of stuff. And the third thing we really want to emphasize was the ability to contextualize it to your, where you are, to your classroom, because research shows the closer and the more time you have to contextualize within the actual learning, the more easier it's going to be for you to apply, and it's actually going to be useful and you might retain it. So I was really wanting to hear those RUP, or really useful project as we referred to it. I was wanting to hear what some of those are, and Brett, I thank you for sharing that. Bev and Maria, would you mind sharing what you did for yours?
I actually made a website for both a music class, and I can't remember the other one, including some of the videos and different media and maybe other websites that they would need to teach. And ironically, when I left the music classroom, they replaced me with an art teacher who is now using that website to teach the music class.
And Jason, that's what I said when I made my Live Finders project, so that my teachers have all those resources. Yeah, and we also introduced Symbaloo and some of those other tools along the way. So not only was my Live Finders project a good one, but some of the tools, I would be excited and come back and say, hey guys, you need to try this. And they were kind of overwhelmed, but at least during faculty meetings, you know, they were introduced to those tools as well.
And I can attest, you know, going into the classrooms, just about every single teacher that especially the ones I encounter on a day-to-day basis in the elementary, they have either a Live Binder or Symbaloo page set up, and you know that was part of the first course, was they introduced those tools, and everybody's sharing how much they love, you know, just simply setting up that page gives them, you know, a starting point to go to all their favorite sites, so they don't have to look through while class is going on. But it's something from the class that I definitely see used, you know, throughout the campus for that matter, not just in the elementary school here at Elwood.
Fantastic. Well, definitely designed as a stepping off point. So I'm glad to hear that that's how you found it for that teacher that has, even if you've never implemented technology before, this would be that stepping off point. And not to take over here, Amanda, but another question I have is the one thing I do hear, once we get teachers in the course, they really enjoy their experience, but it can be very difficult to get teachers to do online learning or to trust that that's something. What advice would you have for teachers or that they're looking or kind of scared of the whole online learning experience? Could you comfort them that this is something they're worried about?
I know for me, time is a huge, huge factor. So I would definitely push for the fact that, you know, you can do it at your own pace. For the most part, you have so many things you need to do in the week's time, but you can choose to do those when you're up late at night or early in the morning or whenever you can fit it in. So I think that's a big relief for people, is that, you know, you have more control over it.
Good.
Definitely. And then, you know, I would, to add to that, the time slots is, you know, on the course that I'm in currently, we put it to 2 weeks. So we have 2 weeks to get our stuff in. That was basically just voted on by the group. but the time slots definitely work out. And then, each module is designed where it gives you like a checkoff window. So if you're not inapt to actually going online and completing tasks or in an online setting, the way that the course is set up, it gives you, it's real intuitive as far as how you follow it. Okay, you reply onto a discussion, check the check mark saying that I'm done, and then you'll close out and you'll go to the next module. Maybe listen to a video of somebody speaking over a subject. So it's really intuitive how it's set up, and for the most part, it just gives you instructions of how to, you just all got to follow along, and you should be good.
Okay. Okay, man, I'll let you have it back again. Sorry.
That's okay. I know that, like I said, Maria and Bev both have to run. They've got places they need to be. But I thank both of you for taking time out to share with everyone your experiences and how they might be able to use those things in the future. Brett, if you can hang around in case we have any questions that come up throughout the rest of the webinar, that would be awesome. Can you do that?
Yes, he can.
Yeah, I can do that.
Amanda, and I just want to say to everyone that you and Jason, you were very good to work with in the course, because if we did have issues and there was a time issue, you were always very kind and let us do what we needed to do. I also want to say one last thing about the course was the fact that, sometimes you need to sell those teachers on why this is important, why is technology changing, and why we should be doing these things. And I didn't have to go out and look for those things. I could look at that video and hear Jason or hear you guys telling us, why we've got to get on board with this. And instead of coming from me, it's coming from you guys and from experts out there. So that was really valuable, and I did share some of those things with my staff. This is why we have to move forward, guys. We can't stay still. So I think that's one of the most important things of the course, is the understanding of where we should be in technology with our kids. And I'm sorry I have to go, but Brett is more than welcome to stay in my office and continue the conversation, okay? Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you, Bev.
Thank you to both of you. I need to run. I have a whole room of teachers waiting.
Thank you so much, Maria, for taking time out and helping us.
No problem. Have a great day.
You too.
Amanda, do you want to go into some descriptions now, some more specifics on some of the courses?
Absolutely. I think that would be a great idea.
Okay,
so thanks. About our courses in general, and these three did a pretty good job of explaining it in some basic terms. The courses have 9 modules, and we started with them being 8 weeks, and then gave the option for the second course that I'm currently facilitating to do 16 weeks so that the teachers have 2 weeks to complete each module, and we found that that was easier for everyone because just teachers are so busy, especially the teachers who we have enrolled in the course. They're working their fingers to the bone, coming up with new lesson plans and innovative things, and it was hard for them to get things worked into their schedule. So with those 2 weeks, like Brett said, they found it a little easier to get everything done and do their best work. Each module always has the same things in it. There's always a discussion. There's always a blog that we have the participants use for personal reflection. There's also a spotlight speaker, which is that video Bev was talking about, where we have in the intro course experts from all over the state speaking about one particular topic that they have some expertise in, and that's via a video, and then the teachers are able to watch it over again if they need to, and have some research-based information they can take back. And then we also provide a variety of resources about each topic. Usually those are websites or videos, and the teachers kind of have some flexibility in which ones they read, whether they choose to really read it in depth, or we even suggest for some of them it's okay to skim this one so that they don't feel like they have to pore over every single article to make sure that they catch every single thing. All of our courses are built using technology-related standards. The majority of them are based around the NETS standards, and we also talk about the NET standards in the intro course so that everyone kind of understands what they are and what the different versions of the NET standards are. And as Jason mentioned before, we have 5 courses in total, and those combine to connect what we call the Connected Educator Series, which just really means that these individuals have experienced really in-depth professional development, are really ready to go into the classrooms and be big leaders and affect some very great change as a result. When we designed the course, there were some things that we wanted to make sure that we did, and one of those was to facilitate collaboration among the teachers. And as you heard the 3 of our participants say, that was one of the most valuable things for them, to make sure that they were able to work with others around the state. We also wanted to encourage each of the people involved to be reflective in what they're currently doing in the classroom or in their professional situation, and how they might be able to apply the knowledge that they're gaining in the course to their professional situation, whether that be an administrator or in the classroom or a coach. We wanted to make sure that we had material that's relevant and that they can apply immediately, and that the resources we provide are ones that teachers can take back and share with their colleagues. And as you heard Bev and Maria and Brett say, they were really able to do that a lot. So I'm going to talk just really briefly about each one of the 5 courses and what they have in them. In the Introduction to Blended and Online Teaching, we provide a variety of classroom resources that can be utilized immediately, and 96% of the folks who have gone through the course say that they thought that that was a strength in the course. We also present research-based evidence supporting the need for a pedagogy shift, and 90% of our participants felt like they could actually go and justify why we need to integrate technology as a result of the information they gained in the course. We worked really hard to help them learn strategies and what some of the curriculum models are that can be used to increase student engagement, and 93% of our participants felt like they were now able to make those modifications to their curriculum so that they can increase student engagement. And we also looked at some of the differing viewpoints and resources that are available for teaching digital citizenship, and 88% of our participants felt like they were now able to go and implement some sort of digital citizenship education as part of their professional situation. Our big favorite statistic is that 97% of participants would recommend the course to a colleague, which we feel like speaks volumes about the objectives that we've had and our ability to accomplish those. Tech Integration 101, we currently have 3 sections of that going right now. Really, the course was designed so that the participants can get practical skills that can be applied immediately. And I wrote this course based on my experience integrating technology. I had iPads in my 8th grade language arts classroom, and then also I worked as a technology integration specialist at that same corporation, and what I saw the teachers needed based on my interaction with them. So the projects that they create are specifically designed to educate stakeholders, whether that be school board members, reluctant teachers, parents. It's practical things that they can use right now because we know that that's a very important part of technology integration. We look at some of the curriculum models related to technology integration. We look at PBL, flipped classroom, authentic assessment, inquiry learning, and kind of explore what those mean and how we can use them in the classroom. One thing that I hear a lot of teachers say is that they're afraid to use the device because the kids will just use them as toys. So one of the things that we do is talk about what strategies you can use, how you can set up your classroom and the atmosphere in your classroom to try to prevent that from happening. And we also look at the options for ways to assess whether or not the technology integration is effective or not. One of my favorite things about this course is that our spotlight speakers are all teachers who are currently in the classroom, who are working on technology integration. They are in their second full year of technology integration, and they are sharing their experiences so that others can learn from what they have done. So very practical again. The next course then in the series is called Designing Digital Learning Spaces. And some of the things that we're hoping participants will take away from that is to identify ways to use the LMSs, whether it be My Big Campus or Moodle or Canvas. How can they use those to reach the higher levels of SAMR? So how can we not just post worksheets on there? What can we do to make it more effective, more engaging? We will look at how digital curriculum can be modified to meet learners' needs, whether that be high ability or special needs students. We'll look at whether digital textbooks are necessary or whether we can simply curate curriculum on our own and why we might choose to do one or the other. We'll look at the best practices in digital assessments, look at the information related to copyright and fair use, which is something that I think a lot of us don't know a whole lot about. There's a lot of misconceptions, so I look forward to seeing that. And then they'll also design a unit that employs the best practices established in the course. So the idea is that they actually design the digital learning space as the course goes, so that when we are finished with Module 9, they now have a unit that they can use immediately. The data-driven student-centered classroom. We're taking two topics that are so important in classrooms and putting them into one course because they really cannot be separated. They are interconnected. So the participants will experience the best practice strategy of student-centered learning because that's the way the course will be set up. There will be a lot of choice and differentiation based on past experience and current professional situations. We'll look at UDL and the different ways to differentiate and what that can look like in the classroom. And then on the data side, we'll look at how to disaggregate and use the student data from whatever resources you have available at your corporation, whether you're using Acuity or NWA or AIMS or DIBBLES or MClass, so that it's tailored to the individual so that they are able to get what works for him or her. And then lastly, sorry, I can't read all of it. It's cut off.
Okay. It says utilize data to make decisions regarding the student mastery and subsequent differentiation is needed. Right.
Okay. So really,
pretty self-explanatory, absolutely, yeah. So the point being that we're going to use the data to actually make sure that the classroom is centered around the student and their needs, and we're meeting them at their level of need and then be able to bring them forward. Making use of that technology beyond just digital curriculum and seeing how we can get a snapshot of where the student is at any given point.
Right, and the idea will be that the teachers are applying the information that they're using in the course in their classroom. So they'll actually be looking at their students' data and making decisions based on the data, applying those to the students' needs.
In real time, right.
Real time. And our capstone course is the advanced elements of eCoaching. And participants in this course are going to create a digital portfolio that includes samples of activities, projects, blog reflections, and artifacts from both their classroom or professional development sessions that they have collected while they've been taking all the courses. There's going to be a focus on e-coaching skills that are kind of tricky to master, such as time management, knowing who to help when, who gets priority, how to use share time fairly among everyone who needs help, how to help reluctant teachers, technophobic, if you will, how to co-teach effectively, how to know if what you're doing is working, and how to scaffold the information to really make sure that it is reaching your teachers in a good way, or you're being able to use it in the classroom. The course.
Did we lose her? Can you guys, I can't hear Amanda anymore. Can you guys hear her? Okay, looks like she just got kicked off. That's okay, I'll keep going. She's about done anyhow. She's not at the office, by the way. Anyhow, they would also kind of accumulate in a project that allowed them to create a handbook to bring all of this together. And really, since this is the capstone, this wouldn't be for all teachers. The idea behind this is someone that went through all 5 courses, including this capstone course, should be able to turn around and they've increased the capacity of their districts. They could jump in and they could then train other teachers, would be the ultimate goal. Mary, do we have any questions about any of these courses before I move on?
By the way, I'm back now. I got kicked off, sorry.
Perfect, no problem. Are we okay, Mary?
She says yes, she hasn't seen any questions.
Okay, perfect. We're just answering it all so well. I love it. Okay, I'll jump in here, man, unless you have anything else to add.
Nope. Go for it.
I get to do this part. Basically, I think it's important. Anytime we start talking about curriculum or we start talking about your learning, it's very, very personal. So I think it's always important to make sure that what we believe and what you believe match. Because if they don't, this would not be a good fit for you. So this kind of gives you, as we build, everything we build, whether it's an online course, whether it's an on-site training, or whether it's an admin academy that we're leading, we have these pillars that we go always look to. And first off, we believe that teachers are overworked. This is not a shock. This is something that Dr. Kouros put together for his dissertation, showing this is a truly networked teacher. All of the things, if we were going to do it all well, all the things that we should be paying attention to, are getting inputs and outputs from. This doesn't even include any RISE evaluations. So obviously our teachers are very, very busy. So the things that we design have to be made so that they can actually fit into their schedules. The other thing we do is look at the research when it comes to professional learning with adults. We know that adults cannot be taught in the same way that we teach students. And with a lot of administrators, this is what they try to do. We prescribe something called transformational learning theory, which shows that adults have filters that have to be respected. In fact, all research would show there's this really powerful combination of beliefs, practices, and student learning. And what this means is that if for teachers, we can't just jump to the practice. So we want to start introducing technology into our classroom. We don't just start showing them tools. We have to respect that there's some beliefs that they have as adults who have personal and professional experience. And that's what that Intro to Blended Online Teaching course does, is work on their beliefs and try to bring them forward before we even start trying to introduce any practices. And then when it gets to the actual changing of practices, once the beliefs are there, that's where the Tech Integration 101 course comes in. That's where the Designing Digital Learning Spaces and obviously the data course goes on from there. Now, a lot of professional development will just focus on the practices, but they definitely don't go on to the student learning or how do we measure. The point of professional development is to affect student learning, and I think sometimes we forget that. But the research would say if we aren't measuring the effect of the change in our beliefs and our practices on student learning, there isn't any reason to believe that it has actually been effective. So that's why we have our data course. But even in the things we do, we want to show that there is a way that we can measure these things. In fact, we have to measure these things because this isn't just a circle. This is a helix, if I could go 3D. And once you've changed beliefs and practice and you can show that you've affected student learning, that will then continue to change the beliefs and practices. And like I said, this is what professional growth looks like. And I know as an educator, this is how I would have liked to have my professional development if I had a choice. Next is this. We believe there is a digital divide, and it's not just digital native, digital immigrant. If you heard me talk before, I think that's all I ever talk about at Teams. It's not just between our teachers and our students. We have digital divides between districts in our state, between schools in a district, between teachers in a hallway. It's unbelievable, the divide that has opened up between it's like no one runs medium, right? Either you're dragging your feet or you are driving it like you stole it, as Candace likes to say. And it's creating this huge digital divide. And the things that keep us up at night are this. This is a study by Lawless and Pellegrino, even in 2007, just saying there's no doubt that if you look down the road 5 years, our students are going to have equal access to technology. Our directors will get us there. But there is reason to doubt they will have equal access to a teacher capable of using technology to reinforce student learning. And I would go as far as to say this is an epidemic, not just in our state, obviously, but that's what we're worried about right now, is having all of our kids having the ability to have a teacher that knows how to use these things correctly. And right now, the way a lot of our professional learning experiences are going, we're taking care of the people that are running fast, but those that aren't coming along, those whose beliefs aren't there, we aren't worrying with them. We're just saying, well, they better catch up or they better get out. That's fine, and I'm a former administrator, so I certainly understand that some administrators talk that way. However, that's not my favorite way to go about this, because ultimately who is going to suffer are going to be our students, because they will not have access to that teacher that can engage them in a meaningful way. And so when we design things, we design them for the lowest common denominator. Now, there's certainly enough access points for even the most advanced student to go through our courses and get something out of it. But we want to be able to bring along the most reluctant learner is our goal. Because there's this high access, low use environment in our state that is just taken hold, where we're spending $250,000 on devices and we're not spending $1 on actually training our teachers. Again, this is where the intro class came out of, was here's something you can give your teachers to get them started so that we don't have these high-priced paperweights. Because what we find is that, the kids have at least the one rock star teacher who's using the stuff like crazy, and then they walk next door to their next period class or walk by the hallway and see the elementary classroom, the teacher next door just isn't using it at all. And it's really depressing for the kids now because they know better. Back when I was in school, I had a pencil, I had a piece of paper, and a book, and that was as good as it could get unless they brought in the film strip projector. These kids see it being used effectively, and then when they walk into a classroom that has the same high access and there's low use, it actually affects student learning by killing the engagement. And then there's this, what we believe there is also an epidemic of what Reed Galt at Plymouth High School calls thinking and not thinking. And he said this to me and I really liked it. The idea being that because we're just launching this without good training, we're not growing. And my example I always give is my mom was a teacher, and so I never got to have cool gaming systems. So when I was a kid, the Sega Genesis was big, and I'd go to my friends' houses, and they all had Sega Genesis. And the game they always wanted to play was Mortal Kombat. And you could look at this controller and see this is not complicated by any means compared to controllers today. But I looked at this thing and I had no idea what to do. So as a result, I just pushed buttons. I'd ask my friends for a lesson so I could truly understand what each button did, but they just wanted to get to the fighting. So as a result, I just pushed them, and I pushed them hard, and I pushed them fast, and about 50% of the time I would win, and about 50% of the time I would lose. And it didn't matter. I played for years, and it never changed. I never got better. And the reason is because fundamentally, I didn't understand what I was doing. And this is what we're seeing in some of these programs, some of these one-to-ones, as they call themselves, who are 3, 4, even 5 years down the road, is they haven't taken the time to really flesh out their teachers' understanding of what high-access learning environment actually is, what is e-learning. We don't have a common vocabulary even. And so the teachers are just pushing buttons. They're just picking tools, just throwing things out at the kids, and they're not improving. They're not maturing. And it's just because their understanding of all this is like Swiss cheese. And so our goal, starting with that iBOT course, the intro course, all the way through whichever course you would go to, is to fill that in from the bottom up so we can create a baseline for all teachers so we can get them to the same point for the good of the kids. we believe the SAMR model is, or the SAMR model, as I've heard it referred to, is fantastic. If you haven't seen this before, you start at the bottom with substitution, and we try to work our way to the top of redefinition. The idea being that there is a process that teachers have to go through to get to where we want them to be. And as someone who was helping teachers integrate technology, I was already there. I was already at redefinition. That was my vision for what it should be. And so when they said to me, hey, I've got an idea. I want to scan this worksheet and put it on my iPad, I basically, picked up the desk and threw it against the wall because that wasn't in my vision. I was picturing redefinition, and they were showing me substitution. But in reality, that's a valid step in the process. Do we want to stop there? Absolutely not. What I should have done is said, oh, that's an interesting idea. I can certainly help you out with that. But also, here's some other things you might want to consider. So by meeting them at their level of belief, I could have pulled them forward. But since I reacted and said, no, that's not it at all, I really stunted their process. So everything we do, again, the courses, the trainings, everything revolves around the SAMR model, finding out where you are and finding how we can help you and support you to bring you up in this model. We also believe that there are 4 learning spaces, and that when true learning takes place, all 4 learning spaces have been respected. This is Dr. Thornburg's work from a long time ago, but it really applies well now, especially as we start talking about online learning. The first is the campfire. He says that this is that lecture. Everyone gets the idea that lecture is evil, and lecture isn't evil. Just the way we tended to do it now, where we lecture the entire period, that's evil. But it's storytelling. It's a mini. We like to refer to them as mini lectures. Research would show that 5 to 7 minutes is about the perfect amount of lecture to actually get the information out there. So everything we do in our courses has a campfire. Once we've heard the information, you need a chance to discuss it, and Dr. Thornburg calls that the watering hole. And for us, that's the discussion boards. And we'll throw out a question about the material that they've seen, and this is the good stuff. And I think every single teacher and administrator who talked today talked about how much they love sharing information. And if nothing else, we wanted with these courses to help basically take people's hands and grab them together. The power of getting to talk to someone across the entire state and get ideas is more powerful than anything else. So that for us is a very important part of the process, and every module, every week, we'll have a discussion for teachers to participate in to grow their professional learning networks. The next one is the cave, and Dr. Thornburg says, okay, you've heard about it, you've discussed it, now you have to reflect on it. And this is that transformational learning theory stuff that I mentioned before with adults who have these experiences. When I was in kindergarten, you could tell me, that the color was this or this, and this time I would believe everything you said because I had no filter through which to view it. Adults, especially teachers, have very, very tight filters, and so we have to give them a chance to think about what they believed before, and the stuff they've learned, the stuff they've discussed, they need to be able to put it away. Or, as research would say, it needs to be contextualized. A lot of our PD we go to when we go to conferences is this non-contextualized stuff. They need a chance to put it away for their classroom. And so we want to build that into what we're asking them to do so that it's actually useful. I have tons of notes from conferences I've attended, and I've never had the time to contextualize any of them. So they just sit in my Evernote in notebooks. So we build that into the course so that, again, there's that authentic feel to it or outcome for it. Finally, Dr. Thornburg says that, it has to be life. You have to be able to apply it. So every one of our courses has an outcome. There is a deliverable, and it's something that the teacher can go into their classroom and they can try it out. They can then come back to the group and report out for their successes and their struggles and go back and try it again. And really emphasizing that just-in-time learning as opposed to just in case or taking notes, putting it away for some future time. And finally, this is the backbone of everything we do. This is the fundamental shift and why we are where we are today is that with access to information the way it is, we're all learners and we're all teachers, and that's just sort of the motto that we have throughout, which is why we don't record every mini lecture for every module. We do some, but as much as we possibly can, we bring in, as Amanda mentioned, these spotlight speakers, these experts from the field so they can hear from someone new possibly every week, including Michelle Green. I saw Michelle's on. She's one of our spotlight speakers. So bringing in these people for them to hear from, because that's what we would have wanted if we were going through these courses. And so I think I've probably run out of time. That is, if there's any questions about any of that, that's a lot of jargon in a very tight amount of time. Mary, do you have any questions about any of that? Is anyone still with me?
No questions have come in.
All right. Well, here's what we have for you guys today. I can announce this, that most likely in the very near future, there are going to be seats available in all of these courses at no charge to the school, is what we hope is going to be happening very, very soon. So please keep this in mind as far as soon as we know. Please watch the Learning Connection, watch all the Office of eLearning outlets for this news. But in the meantime, everyone who is still here listening to me, we are going to offer you a free seat in one of these courses. So I shared the link to the presentation earlier. Maybe, Amanda, you can throw that out there again, because I can't get to the chat window. But if you would go and just register right now, and we would love to have you, again, offer each one of you a free seat in one of our courses to get a taste for this. And Amanda, unless you have anything to add, that will sort of bring us to a conclusion for our webinar today.
Thanks for having me on today, guys. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, Brett.
Okay, Jason?
Yes.
I have a question from Shelley, who asked for the names of the 5 courses. Can you quickly
Absolutely.
rattle those
yeah,
off
Amanda,
for us?
Yeah, I can. Actually, Amanda, even one step better, she could, Amanda, could you throw in the link to the courses that has the descriptions and the titles?
I'm working on it.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll run through them. There's the Intro to Blended and Online Teaching. There's Tech Integration 101, Designing Digital Learning Spaces, the Data-Driven Student-Centered Classroom, and finally that Advanced Elements of eCoaching.
Okay, and I also had somebody ask about how to register for the free course. Is that information in that link on the presentation?
It is, actually, but you know what, Amanda, if we should just throw it in the chat window. If you want to just throw that in the chat window as well. Yes, this entire presentation is available as well, but they can go to that last slide. Or our website is 5-staracademy.com, right?
Okay. Yep, and I have the names of everyone who is in the webinar today, so if there's any confusion about who was there, then I've got all of that also.
Okay,
so.
Great.
Well, let's one more call for questions, and while we're waiting for questions, I'm going to just share a quick slide with our contact information in it in case anybody is looking for how to keep in contact with us, the Office of eLearning. And again, go up to that green bar and click on chat, and that will open your chat window up again. If you have not had a chance to get to the link to the 5-Star website, and also you can always email, if you go to our homepage, we've got 5 people in our huge office. All 5 of us are listed at the bottom of that homepage, and you can email any of us if you have a question, and we will either have the answer or find the answer or send you to who has the answer. Jason, I have another question that will be for you. If we've already taken the first course, is it possible to have a free seat in the second course of the series?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I would offer to any of the 5 courses once they'll start up. We anticipate all those starting up for sure in the spring for semester we're in. So absolutely, they could choose any of those 5.
Very good. Well, thank you to you, Jason, and to Amanda and Brett, to you also, and then Bev and let me see. Oh, and Maria. Sorry, I was looking at another message that came in. who presented today. Also, for anyone who is on the call, I know we have one person who came in late. There was a time confusion, but I did, fingers crossed, record this webinar today, and I will have that posted on the 21st Century Learning Lab. With the holiday this week, it will probably be later next week that is posted. I've got 3 to get through for the one last week and the 2 this week, so I will have those posted. So, all right, with that, I am going to reset.
Hello, this is Libby, and your call is very important to me. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Sorry about that, everybody. It did that to me the other day when I was talking to her on here. Anyway, I was saying it is now 5 o'clock. I'm going to tell everybody good night, and if you have a chance and are interested in teaching kids about online safety, please join us tomorrow for our webinar with NBC Learn. That's going to be another information-packed hour. But thank you to all of our presenters and to everybody who attended, and have a great holiday week. Good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.